welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a makeup look using the August 2020 Boxycharm box. I have previously done an unboxing, which I will leave up in the card. I recommend you go watch that one first before you watch this one so you know a little bit more in detail about the products that I'm going to be using. And I'm happy to say this month we have a box of products that will give us a full makeup look. The only thing I had to add to this makeup look is a setting spray, which is okay. So our featured eyeshadow palette that we're going to be using is from Violet Voss. It's the Violet Voss Essential 2 palette. This is an everyday palette with a pop of color. It's a beautiful palette. I know summer, most people are going for neutrals looks, and I have already done a neutral look for summer, so I'm going to do a look with a pop of color today. My favorite colors in the palette are the pinks and purples, but I'm going to go against the grain and use colors that I don't normally use. So our main look is going to focus on the aqua here, which is a more of a shimmer, and the matte sky blue, but all of the 10 shades in here are pressed pigments. It's a 10 pressed pigment palette. So this is the eyeshadow we're going to do. And this month we got a concealer. You know, I have been using the Tresinique concealer in the shade. This is the concealer I've been using in the past in the shade Toffee, but I actually got the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. So we're going to start off with this, and this is in the shade Sand. So I'm just going to conceal, and we're going to get into the makeup look. So I love how big this doe foot is. It makes it easier to get in. Guys, our eyeshadow palette has a mirror, so that's the mirror I'm going to use today. So I'm just going to get this. Wow. In the spots that I want to cover. And then, so basically when I wear concealer, I just put concealer underneath my eyes and a little bit on my chin in spots where I want to cover the blemishes, and I have like this little tiny blemish on my nose, so I'm putting concealer on my nose today. And I don't like using a sponge for my concealer. I am going to use a brush. This is just a brush set that I have that has the brushes names on them. So this is my concealer brush, and we're just going to blend away. I'm just going to blend, blend, blend. I like using a brush because I feel like I have a better grip on a brush, in my opinion. I have a better grip on a brush, And guys, this concealer is very full coverage in my opinion, so you don't need a lot of that. So I'm just blending this in, and it's a little bit darker than my actual skin, at least under my eye. So, but I'm sure you could probably blend this in with but I'm just taking it and bringing it down on my cheek because once it's under my eye, I want to cover up any darkness or redness I am trying to hide. And with summer, I tend to get really red from heat, so this concealer comes in handy when I am trying to cover that up. And I really do like to cover, but this is something you're going to have to set, it looks like, because as it's blending, I can tell this is something I do not want to crease at all. And this is a perfect color because it blends in with the rest of my face and it covers the pink. So I will be using, anytime I use this concealer, I will definitely be using this color because it gives me an even skin color. So I'm just going to blend the other side. I'm going to speed this up while I blend the other side for you. Our concealer is all blended in now. So from concealer, we're going to move on to eyes. I do not wear foundation. Concealer is just to cover the little bit of redness and darkness, and we're good. So we're going to move on to eyes. And I am going to start with our transition color in the crease. And what I like about these brushes, you can find a brush for all your angular needs. Yes, the last brush that you saw me use was the marble brush. So we're going to use this crease brush, and since I'm going to use blue, we're going to do 2 creases. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm actually going to dab this concealer on my eyes because I want to prime my eyelids. So before we get into the color, I'm just going to put this on my eyelid. on both sides and then blend that in, because this will give, one, it will make my eyelid a uniform color, and two, it will give my eyeshadow a little something to stick to. Honestly, this concealer, in my opinion, smells like paint. And if you see, I have to grab the concealer brush again. There is a reflection. I'm just going to make sure my eye is blended all the way over. And it gives me enough time to work with it to make sure it is blended. As you can see, it's going on. It's very wet. But if you can get over the smell, this is a great concealer. But it reminds me of paint. That's why I say you can highlight with it, because it's a really all over concealer. Now I'm going to give this a second to dry a little bit, but still tacking once it's blended in. It is blended. You can see the sand colors on my eyes. So we are going to dip into I usually use the lightest shade, which is beige. I would use the lightest shade, but since I'm going to be going for a darker crease, I'm going to start with the middle shade, Clay, to get plain in place into, there's cake up in this palette, see, as you can see. But if cake up doesn't bother you, which it does not bother me, I'm going to do one eye and then speed through the second eye. So, I have enough of clay. I'm just going to tap that on my brush and set this color in place in my crease. I always use a transition color because it'll make the other colors flow together nicely, and it's always a chance to set my concealer if it's still a little wet, and I'm just going to keep this one up in my crease a little bit more. So basically a transition color just helps you get to one color to another, and I'm just keep blending until I get my crease to the shade that I like. Okay, so now that that's all up on the crease, I'm going to go in with the same crease brush, and I'm going to move to the dark brown called chocolate brown and deepen at the crease, especially on the edges. So you kind of have to look up in the air to get to your crease to darken that moment. And you just want to bring it all the way over, because I want my crease to be as dark as it possibly can, because all the color that I'm going to use, I want technically on my lid. I want you to see the dark crease, and then the blue in aqua on my lid. So I'm just bringing this all over and making sure it's blown out and blended enough. I don't want to bring it down into the inner corner because I'm going to use an inner corner highlight. So I'm just making sure this is blended as much as possible and looks blown out. So now that it's blended and blown out, I'm going to switch to a all over brush, and I'm going to dip into sky blue, which is this bottom shade, sky blue. And these shades are very pigmented. See how it coats the brush? You can see how much pigment it is just based on the look of the brush. So I'm going to look down because I want this to go on my lid, and there is fallout. So if fallout is something that bothers you, I would just be careful of that. So on the bottom, as you can see, I'm just putting this on the bottom, making sure that I do not touch my crease, because I want my crease to stay dark and this to stay, it says sky blue, but it looks more turquoise to me once it hits the eye. So I'm just going to make sure that this is blended all the way across. And as you can see, a little bit got on my face, but I'm going to remove that before I'm done. And you just want to do windshield wiper motions all the way across to get it. It looks like a bluish green, which is turquoise. So now that I've finished that, I am going to take this aqua color on my finger with a sparkle and put this on the center all the way over to my right side, because I find anything that has a little bit of sparkle, like this color, is a lot easier to place with my finger. Then I'm going to take this eye one step further and make sure that you can still see on close to my inner corner there is the other blue. But I might cover up this other blue with purple. So I'm just going to take the brush on the edge to make sure, now that it's applied, that it blends in with the rest. Bring it up a little bit. Then it blends in with the rest of the arm. Now that it's blended in with the rest, I am going to, I don't know, I kind of want to add this purple, well, the orchid color. So we're going to try, we're going to take another brush, a little angled brush, and we're going to do the lower lash line now. And we're going to do my lower lash line with this orchid color. The lower lash line I find is the hardest part because you want to get as close to your lash line as you can without poking yourself in the eye. So we're gonna just try this orchid color on the lower lash line. Yeah, I don't like this on the lower lash line as I'm looking at it, so we're just going to remove that with my finger. And we got more blue on the face. So we are going to take this rose gold color and fill in with this little brush, the smudger brush. We're going to take this rose gold champagne color, just pop that in on the inner corner. I tried it with a brush. You barely can see it with the brush, so I'm going to do my favorite thing and take this rose gold color with the shimmer, as you can see, and pop that on my inner corner. And don't worry, I'm gonna clean up the blue that's on the bottom. So I'm gonna do with my finger, I'm just gonna hold it there to make sure it gets on the inner corner. And that's pretty much the end of this eye look. So I'm just going to go off camera and do the other eye, and we're gonna get into eyeliner. My way, your fan. Your fan.
Which one?
The little one.